All right, welcome everybody to the fifth episode of the Real Talk podcast. Got a very nice show for you guys here tonight. With me tonight, I have back again Al. What's going on, bro?
What up?
We got Frank back with us. Hopefully tonight, technically or technologically with us. I don't know. How you doing, Brett?
What's going on?
We got Eddie No Side. What's good?
Yo, I'm liking the voice you're doing right now, dude. I feel like I'm watching like late night fucking radio. Like you're live here with Wilson Sin
You're
on
here right now with
96.7.
Wilson Silva.
Yeah.
6.7. And me, of course, your boy, Sin Maris. Holla back. So, tonight we're going to touch on stuff that, pretty interesting topic, I feel. It's kind of a broad subject. Phobias, stuff that's traumatized you as a kid. Not like, my uncle touched me or whatever and shit like that, but like shit that, you've probably done that's probably scared the crap out of you, and every time you go near something or whatever, you're like, oh shit, fuck that, kind of like, I hate to throw this reference out there, but like, I don't know, rape victim try to have sex again for the first time or something. That's probably pretty bad, but anybody want to share anything right off the bat? Al? Any? Frank? Eddie?
Well, how about Ed? Ed brought up an interesting phobia earlier.
Yeah, let's hear yours. You were talking about it earlier, and I kind of let's brush on that.
Yeah, man. So yeah, a few years ago, me and my girlfriend's family, we go camping. Well, they go camping. They invited me. I've been going for the past 6, 7 years. About 3 years ago, I think, we were jumping off a cliff. And me, I was at that point that I'm like, you know what? I'm a grown ass man. I ain't jumping off a cliff no more. Like, I'm good. I'm gonna jump off this cliff to
I
go
ain't
into
jumping
the
off no
water
more
to
cliffs.
swim out. I ain't jumping over. I'm a grown ass man. I do what I want. And like that, this particular summer was like cold as shit. Like it was just dark all the time. Like the water was just freaking cold. Like you put your foot in there and it's your shit shrunk for a few days. So I was just like, you know what? Like this scenario is not good for me. And my girlfriend's little brother's like, dude, like you gotta jump in there. You gotta jump in. I'm like, dude, I'm all set. So I looked at my girlfriend's sister, who I knew wasn't gonna jump. So I said, you know what? If you jump, shit, I'll jump. So I'm sitting there talking and talking.
Hold on. How high is this cliff? Just curious. 'Cause I've had a similar experience here, but I wasn't traumatized by it. But
I'm thinking probably like 20, 30 feet, maybe a little more.
that's not. It's about what they have here. Similarly, they got a place called Waimea Bay or whatever, and it's like a 30-foot cliff or so, and you jump right into the Pacific Ocean. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, but so like I said, hey, Kate, if you jump, I'll jump, because I knew she wasn't gonna jump. So I'm talking to somebody, and I just hear this chick ran and jumped into the damn water.
The fuck was that? Sorry.
Yeah, it was
Running.
just like, yeah, my bad. Yeah, she was just sprinting and jumped off the cliff, dude. And I'm sitting up there like, yo, f that. Like I'm not doing that. Like I'm good. But then it's like, like at this point, I'm like always telling my girlfriend's little brother, like, look, you guys gotta stick to your word. As a man, that's all you got. If you give someone your word, you gotta do it. And they're sitting there looking at me like, yeah, you gonna jump in. So then at this point, like I knew I had to jump in, so I'm sitting there looking at it because I'm a big dude. So it's like I have to figure out which is gonna be my best escape route. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump in, then I'm gonna swim over here. You know what? I'm not gonna swim over there because those rocks look way too slippery. I'm not gonna bust my ass again. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna take the long road. So I'm sitting at the edge. I'm like, all right. I back up a little bit. I jump in, get in there. Dude, I was like glad I did. I was like, yo, this is awesome. So I started swimming, and one thing you guys don't know about me, I was in the swimming team when I was in elementary school.
Hey,
It
same
was
here,
only for
bro.
like
Second grade.
it
Holla
was
back.
dude. It was only for like a few months, but dude, I can swim my ass off.
Well, I mean, you'd figure, right? Gotta swim across here to get to America, so you got experience in that.
Yeah, even though I was born here, but you got that, you got that.
Womp.
But dude, I'm swimming over, pa, left, right, left, right, left, right, breathing out the side. Yeah, I didn't fucking move 1 inch. The water was so freaking cold. My body was like frozen solid. So at
God
this point,
damn.
I'm like, yo. I'm gonna swim over I'm a doggy paddle, And I'm a grown ass man. For a grown ass man, a doggy paddle. That's SOS right there. So I'm,
The thought of that is pretty
doggy
funny.
paddle. Dude, I get over to like the rocks and shit. Yo, it's like try to grab onto like a bottle of lube that's been covered in lube and top of lube. Like I could not get a grip to save my freaking life, dude. So at this point, I'm like, I kick off the rocks, and I'm like, dude, I'm like having trouble keeping my body up because I'm a big dude. So I'm like, dude, I'm a grown ass man that's gonna yell for help. So I yell for help. Yo, these
I'm
motherfuckers,
sorry,
yo,
dude. I know you and
Help!
picturing you calling for
Help!
help is too fucking priceless. All right.
I don't know if you guys know this, but
Oh
I like to
God.
crack jokes. I'm a funny guy, and I like to play pranks on people. So when I'm sitting there yelling for help, motherfuckers are laughing at me like,
Oh,
"Yo,
they
look
thought
at
you were
Eddie,
crying wolf.
look at Eddie trying to be funny. Look at Eddie trying to be funny." So at this point, I'm like, "All right, these people might not help me. Let me try to do something." Then like, yo, I just couldn't move. So at this point, I'm drinking water. Like I am legit drinking water, and I'm like yelling for help, yelling for help. Next thing I remember, I'm on the side by the rocks, and Kayla's sister's looking over at me, and I was just like, dude, like I was out for like a few seconds. Like, dude, that shit was so free. Like, dude, I really thought I was gonna die. Like in my mind, I had freaking died.
What? So how does that affected you like today? Like, I mean, like, have you been camping since? Have you done anything crazy or
Oh
anything
no,
like
dude,
that?
we still go camping. My thing is, it's like like there's just certain times that like for example, the next year after we rented out a boat, um, we did that tubing shit or whatever, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get in there. Always want to do that tubing shit. We get in there, dude, and it's like I had a safety vest on. I get on the tube, then I look at the water, then I realize like, oh shit, the only way for me to get off this motherfucker is by going into the water. I think I like fell in the water, dude, and I had a life vest on, dude, and I was like screaming for the like to save like at top of my lungs, dude. Like if I was gonna fucking die right then and there, I felt Jaws was under there. There were a bunch of like, dude, I'm like help, help, and like people like and I remember my buddies like,
Are you in the
dude,
ocean?
like, yeah, no, we were in a freaking lake, and I remember like my buddies like, dude, I'm like, and I'm screaming like, yo, someone fucking help me, someone help me, and my buddy's like sticking his arm out, and I'm like smacking his arm, don't fucking touch me, don't fucking touch me.
Bro, like, okay, but hold on. So it wasn't the jump itself that traumatized. It was more the experience after the jump, you know, in the water and shit like that that really got you going. The I guess the thought or of possibly drowning. That's what's getting you.
Yeah, dude, it's just the fact that I jumped in there and like I thought I had it, like I knew I was gonna be able to get out, I knew I had it, and the fact that like my body shut down and like I couldn't move, and it's like the fact that I tried to hold myself up, and the fact that there were people there like looking down at me, like, and I, dude, like I could have died that day. Like that
Damn,
shit
bro.
fucks with me so bad, dude. Because it's like I'm a big dude, Joe. Like if someone goes in there and they trying to fucking drag me and shit, like yo, this nigga's big as shit. Like I might just die. They might be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna leave him there. He gonna die today.
How deep is the water, by the way? Just curious.
It's pretty freaking deep. It's like
Yeah.
pitch black. Like you can't see
Oh,
the
fuck that.
bottom.
See, like
And that's the thing. And that's the thing though. Like when I'm in a pool, I don't go past like the 6 feet.
Mhm.
Like if I could touch the bottom and I put my head like straight up on my tippy toes, if I can't breathe, like I'm not going in there. So when I got in there, I'm like,
What? Even just in the swimming pool, you won't go to where you can just tread water?
nah, dude. If I can't touch the bottom, or like even if I'm like by the edge of it, like if you touch the bottom and you kind of go under and you gotta like push yourself up, and like you still have to like kick your arms up and kick your feet to get up there. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
fucking
Like
good,
tread
dude.
water.
I'm
Yeah.
I am fucking done.
Well, dude, in
I,
Florida, I have a problem finding a pool that's deeper than 6 feet deep because we
Oh,
really
oh,
don't have
God
basements and
bless your
shit here.
soul.
And I try to find pools that are deeper than that. And sometimes you'll find pools that are 12 feet deep, but it's hard to find here. But
I
yeah,
feel
I don't. That's the best kind of pools, the ones that are deep as shit that you could
Yeah,
dive
I
down.
like the deep pools, but I share your sentiment though, Ed, with the whole the water's dark as shit. Like if I like my thing is like if I'm swimming in water and I can't really see what's under me or whatever, I have this fear that like some fucking giant episode 1 Phantom Menace fucking fish type thing is gonna just like pull me down or some shit like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I
Yeah, I
need to
feel you with
know
that. I
like
feel
what's
you with
going
that.
on around me. So like, it just freaks me out sometimes
Because
if I'm like
and
in deep water and I have no idea what the fuck is going on or what's around me. Like, I would have made the jump, but like as soon as I hit the water, I'm swimming. Back for the shore. Fuck that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
not tread dark water. Fuck that, bro.
and it's like you got all these movies now that fuck with me because it's like you have all these movies that it's like you know kids go out to the lake and there's some dickhead put a freaking shark in the lake or piranhas and shit. You know,
Was
like
it
people
Lake
go,
Placid with the big
With
ass
the
fucking
fucking big
gator?
ass alligator,
yeah, dude,
yeah.
like like you go to a lake because you know what's in there. You know ain't no goddamn sharks. You know jaws ain't in there. You know ain't no damn piranhas in there. Ain't no alligators in there. So I'm sitting up there thinking like, you know what? The chances of me being in a lake where some dickhead say, "Yo, I'm gonna throw a damn shark in here. I'm gonna see how fucking hilarious it is." I take that shit into consideration too.
Bro, there have been stories lately here that bull sharks have been going up into rivers and
Yeah,
lakes and shit
well,
from
yeah,
the
because
oceans.
they can swim in freshwater. There's also that thing. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that video in Australia where they an area flooded or whatever, and a bull shark ended up in one of those, like a golf course, whatever. They have that water area. That
Yeah.
bull shark was swimming in that water area and shit like that. It was
Yeah,
fucking
dude, it's
nuts.
fucking nuts,
I
man.
think for me though, when I go to lakes and shit like that, like if any little thing like happens to touch my foot, I freak out. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like it could be just like seaweed or whatever the fuck it is. Like I freak out instantly. I think it's something that's like out to get me. Like I'm super
Actually,
fucking paranoid.
and one thing too, when I was when I was younger, I think I must have been like 5 or 6. We were in DR and we were out in the river and shit. And I remember like there was this huge rock. It was basically like you get in the river, like all the kids, we would go to the big ass rock because we can all hang out over there and shit like that. Well, my dumbass slipped out of the rock, and it was like the water was like wasn't even like deep. It was like pretty shallow. But I was really young, and I fell into this random hole, and there were like a bunch of catfishes in there, man, and they were like touching me and shit. So I think that
Yeah, that would have
experience,
driven me
and then
nuts,
plus
man.
the shit from like a few years ago, those two, man, like that's what really fucked me over, man.
Yeah, I can't fuck with that shit.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you, again, being in the Navy, you're surrounded by water,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we had a couple of swim calls. And swim call is where they park the ship pretty much in the middle of the ocean, and they do circles, and the whole crew is invited to go out and swim. Middle of the
You have to?
Pacific
Is it
Ocean.
mandatory or no?
No, it's not mandatory. It's if you
Okay.
want to. It's like
I feel like in the army or the navy, sorry, what a military in general would be like, you know.
Oh no, and it was just like, hey, we don't have much to do today. It's Sunday, we'll just you know, park here and we'll have a swim call. And you couldn't really do it for too long, right? You'd have like a couple of hours because either they have to shut off the sewage system in the ship, right? Obviously, people are swimming around the boat. You don't want them discharging, shower water or toilet water into the
Hold
water
on,
while
that's what
people
they
are
do,
swimming.
really? I had no idea. I thought there was like in a tank or some shit. That's fucking interesting.
Well, it is. It is in a tank, but it has to dispel it. You can't just
Ah,
carry shit for 6 months, you know.
wow, that's
But it processes it, and it makes, and it puts it into, bits and pieces, whatever. But yeah, essentially, you deposit it into the ocean. Um, Now, I'm not talking trash and stuff, but I'm talking, bodily waste and shower
yeah,
water.
Yeah,
biodegradable
yeah,
shit.
just
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but um, but yeah, so you have to, make sure that because it would automatically discharge at a certain level. So well, you have to make sure that all stuff is off, or you're going to, flood something on the ship with black or gray water, which
Ugh,
is horrible.
fucking
Anyway, back
gross.
to the. But yeah, I've jumped off the aft missile deck into this, the Pacific Ocean. Middle of the Pacific Ocean. Who the fuck knows what's underneath you? But
Whale sharks and shit.
yeah, whale sharks aren't actually
Yeah, I
that
know, but I
bad.
mean
But
that
Fucking
it's still
whales.
terrifying though. Because I
oh
heard a story
yeah,
about a lady once who went whale watching or whatever. Her camera fell over and she tried to like, how like when something falls, you try to grab it like real quick before it falls or some shit.
hmm
She ended up falling into the fucking on the side from the side of the boat. This is just a story. I don't know if it's true or not. And like one of the humpback whales grabbed her foot and dragged her down a little bit, into the deep fucking ocean, and she was fucking terrified. I'd be fucking terrified too. I'm not
Bro,
gonna
all
lie
you
Oh,
to
I
do
you.
could
is
only
you get in
imagine.
there, and everybody knows that the inside of the whale is completely hollow.
Yeah.
It's just a
Oh,
giant rib cage,
yeah.
and you just have a little candle.
Yeah, pretty much. You live in there like fucking Pinocchio and shit.
Yeah, and then you smoke it out, and then it sneezes you out, and you're good.
But yeah, no, it was actually a lot of fun.
What happened when you jumped in? How deep did you go though? Like, I mean, because those ships are pretty fucking big.
The ship sat. Fuck it. I want to say the lowest point of the ship was 20. It's 23 feet. Shit, now I gotta think. Um, it was 29 feet. Sorry, 29 feet. Was the lowest point of the ship under the water. Yeah, we weren't. We're not a carrier. We were a destroyer. So, but yeah, so it wasn't too bad. I mean, and it was great because in the Pacific Ocean, in some parts, it's clear. It's gorgeous water. So you could swim underneath, open your eyes, and completely see the ship underwater from stem to stern. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, fuck that. That does not sound neat. That sounds petrifying.
Well, I mean, the fact that I would look down and like it fucking would terrify the hell out of me. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Life of Pi or whatever. There's that scene when the ship is sinking or whatever. That's terrifying, bro. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just this giant expanse of nothing. Like that in itself would have fucking freaked me out. Like it's why, like, if I were swimming in the Pacific Ocean or whatever, like that deep, I wouldn't even look down. I just keep going, go about my business, and then that's
Well,
it for
they,
me.
they also had the inflatable ribs, which is rigid hull inflatable boat,
Yeah,
which is they got the two motors on them. They have crew. They have boat crews, right?
yeah,
And they had those out, so if anything, God forbid, and they had Shark Watch. Believe it or not, there's two people on the aft missile deck armed with M16s looking out for sharks.
nice, excellent.
You know what I mean? So it's not like if there was anything that was going to come close to the crew of the ship, we all would have known.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So,
good. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess I have a similar story with Edison's as far as like traumatized with water, but mine stems more from like my fear of spiders and like it's like a legitimate fear, like arachnophobia. Not like to the point where like I can't go to some movie and there are spiders and I can't watch it or whatever. But like legitimate fear of like these giant fucking spiders. Like, I mean, at work, there was this cane spider or whatever, and they're fucking huge. I don't know if you've ever seen a cane spider. But like one day, I'm just chilling there at work, and I'm walking around and messing around with the folders, organizing folders and shit like that, and all of a sudden, hidden inside one of these fucking folders is a giant fucking cane spider, and I fucking lost it, dude. Like I start cussing, swearing like crazy, like what the fuck is going on here? Like this thing just like scatters away, and it lived in the store for a long fucking time. It surprised like a bunch of fucking customers, and like for the longest time, dude, like I could not walk by the folders because I was scared that thing was just gonna come out or something like that. Like I'd come in the morning on Sundays and I saw it scamper one day like away, and I'm like, oh, this fucking spider, fucking tempting me, dude. Like, stay the fuck away. Like, I cannot stand spiders or insects in general. Like, here in Hawaii, all the fucking giant cockroaches that are just fucking flying like it's nobody's business in the air. Speaking of which, like last night or whatever, I had one like fucking fly into the fucking living room wall. It fucking freaked me out. I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? And like, it pisses me off because like I fucking use that fucking Raid bug barrier or whatever to make sure that nothing gets in or whatever, and that I'm completely safe from these fucking things. But like, no, it fucking happens all the time. And I guess my traumatizing experience was like, would be, I was at upstate New York once or whatever, and went to this lake, not a lake, it was like where two rivers meet or whatever, and swimming and shit like that, and getting ready to end the day or whatever, pretty much, and to go back, head home and shit like that. Right as I'm about to jump into the water to swim back across the river, because I was on the other side of the river, or whatever, and it's like it forms kind of like a little middle, like kind of like a little whirlpool of sorts. And as I'm about to get in the water, staring me right in the fucking face is this giant fucking like river spider, whatever the fuck it was, and like I froze, dude. I could not move. I'm looking at this thing like,
Yeah, do
what?
F that.
Dude, I froze, bro. I could not fucking like. I'm like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? I gotta go back. It's getting dark. Like I gotta swim. Bears are gonna fucking come out and shit like that. And I froze, and like, finally the spider fucking moves, and it's like, oh fuck, this shit can fucking swim. Finally, I just said, fuck this shit. I just jumped in the water, closed my fucking eyes, and just swam across that shit, dude. Like, it fucking terrified me, man. Like, I cannot stand insects, man. Something about them. I know they're fucking smaller than me, but I can't explain it. I'm terrified of these things. I really fucking am.
That's crazy. That's like them camel spiders or whatever they're
Oh,
called,
yeah,
right?
those things in, like, the fucking desert that can run about as fast as a human.
And they're like as big.
Yeah, they're fucking enormous.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Fuck that noise. I'm good.
Yeah, I can't play around like that, man.
No, it's not the camel spider. There's one.
No, that's the camel spider, the one that the fucking soldiers were looking at in the fucking deserts over there in
Yeah,
Iraq and shit.
yeah.
I don't know. Anybody else have a story they want to share with us or anything like that? Frank, Al?
I have a couple. They're unrelated. But
I had one about in relation to the drowning one where he thought he was gonna drown or whatever.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
go ahead,
dude.
because
Sure,
mine's completely
please.
off topic.
I hold on, Vicky's interrupting. We were going tubing on a boat, right? So we're like inner tube behind the boat. All right, hold on, never mind, just skip me, just keep going.
All right, Al, you can tell your unrelated one if you want.
Yeah. So I got two. I was really little. I don't even remember how old I was. I'm going to say it was anywhere between 3 and 5. Anyway,
When you were 3 or 5 years old? Sorry.
Yeah, about 3 or 5 years old. So we go up to upstate New York, and we're at the Catskill Game Farm. And the only reason I know this story is because my mom tells it all the time. I remember bits and pieces of it, but I know the entire story because of my mother. Now, they had a petting zoo, as most farms do, and they gave you bottles of milk to feed the goats or
Okay.
the sheep. So you're 3 to 5 years old, and that's fun, right? So let's go have fun with these animals and feed them milk. So I go over there, and I get bored. Now I'm 3 to 5, and I have the attention span of a 3 to 5 year old, and I lose interest. So I start walking away. The goats start walking after me. So I start running away, and the goats start running after me, and the sheep. What I forgot to do in my panic was to drop the milk that was in the bottle. So you have these farm
I have something similar of like when animals attack type thing, but go ahead. I'll let you finish.
So you have these goats that are chasing this 3 or 5, this 4-year-old around, right? This 4-year-old around the petting zoo, and everyone is laughing because all they want me to do is drop the bottle. These goats don't want nothing to do with me. They want the milk that's in the bottle. Yes.
They wanted that Goutte.
Yeah.
So they're all laughing. Everyone at the zoo is laughing, and that's as far as bits and pieces. I remember running, and I remember feeding the goats. I don't remember dropping the bottle, and I don't remember the rest of the day. But yeah, petrified. Now I don't have a problem with goats or sheep at this point in time. So it was, like I said, it was kind of unrelated, but it was traumatizing for a kid.
No, totally, bro. Like I had something similar. Like I have a couple stories actually. When I was really young, I remember going with my parents to Park Street. I don't know if you're familiar with that in Boston. It's in the Boston Common area. It's like a outdoor park, whatever, gardens and shit like that. Anyways, it's pretty popular, very touristy. And as a kid, one day, we're there. It's winter time or whatever, and I'm walking around with my parents, and all of a sudden, this dog, like, just I'm walking by this dog, and like I was kind of scared of dogs as a kid, and this thing starts smelling me, and I freak out and I start running, and this dog starts like chasing me and shit like that, and I'm running around, and like now today I know that like if you run they'll fucking chase you, like so. But as a kid, I'm running around fucking Park Street like screaming and shit, like this dog running in circles because I'm scared as shit that it's gonna like bite me or whatever. It was pretty fucking silly. And what I'll never forget, though, one more fucking story is when remember, I don't know, Resident Evil 3 when it came out, Nemesis or whatever. My best friend, who at the time, like, we were hanging out at the Cambridge Side Galleria, which is like, one of the more popular mall hangouts in Boston. We went to GameStop to pick it up, and after that, we went to like the Burger King that's in the food court, and then we're walking outside, heading to the catch the train to head home and play the game, and we're eating fries, and then we stop real quick. And next thing you know, dude, we got the fries in our hands, and like this pack of seagulls just like comes at us, dude. Literally attacked by seagulls to eat the fucking fries. We like threw that shit in the fucking air and ran, dude. Like it was so fucking weird. I'd never thought they would like attack or whatever. They must have been some fucking hungry ass seagulls. I don't know. It's fucking.
Nah, dude, I've attacked a few people for French fries before, dude.
Nah, man, it was so fucking surreal. I'm like, are we really being chased by seagulls for fucking French fries? I don't know. It's fucking weird.
That's funny. Well,
Yeah.
I do have a story about actually being terrified about something.
Oh, let's hear it, dude.
So again,
Is it when a woman
little,
showed her hairy bush to you?
No.
Oh no, they ain't putting that shit near me, motherfucker.
Hell
Nope.
nah, nigga.
Nope. So I make that known beforehand so they have time to prepare.
You're like, listen up.
Oh man,
We
yeah.
fucking
Listen,
tonight.
I got some ground rules.
We fucking tonight.
Exactly.
You better be
Exactly.
trimmed down there.
No tickling, no cuddling. If you got long ass nails in your toes and they ain't colored, you better get the fuck out. And if your bush ain't cut, you better get the fuck out of here.
But real quick though, when Al mentioned that thing about the chicks having like giant bushes or whatever, remember that scene in the first Scary Movie when they're having that beauty contest and that black girl comes out and all her fucking body hair is braided and shit like that? Like that's what I think. It's fucking gross. But all right, good. I'm sorry. I digress.
So again, I'm at the doctor's office, and I'm not even there for me, or at least I don't think I am. And my older sister is. I'm young at this point. I don't have a little sister yet. And my older sister is getting like a shot or the PPD or something, right? And she's freaking out. My older sister starts to freak out, and I watch them do it, and she screams her head off, and it's horrible, bloody murder. So they go, okay, Ian, you're next. I run out of the doctor's office or the patient
Hold on, you were getting a shot, right?
room. Yeah,
I fucking
but I
hate
didn't
those
know
things
it.
so much. Oh my god.
But having watched my sister freak the fuck out from getting a shot, didn't know anything about what the fuck was going on, but I just watched my sister's reaction to it. So when they said I was next, I bolted out of the room. Now, if you've ever been with a pediatrician, they usually have like bins of toys and stuff, for the kids to play with. I hid in a bin. And
like fucking Rugrats over here, man.
So I run and I hid in a bin, and then all of a sudden, I hear this lady say, "Oh, I think he went in there." And if I knew the words at the time, I would have been like, "You bitch, you're selling me out." But it's like that's the feeling that I had. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah,
just
you were
that
angry and
anger
shit,
of
yeah.
you fucking
You
sold me
fucking
out.
cunt.
Exactly. So they take me back in the doctor's room. And they're like, okay, I guess we won't give him the shot today.
Yeah. Oh,
But ever
God.
since then, I can't do needles.
Yeah,
Can't do
man.
needles.
I honestly, I've never been traumatized. I just still can't do them. I don't like. Okay, I get tattoos and shit like that, and people are like, oh, you get tattoos, well, you can't handle a needle.
different.
It's different, dude.
It's
I feel like they just poke that shit in there so hard, it fucking kills. And like even when I go to the fucking dentist or whatever, and they have to use anesthesia for whatever,
Mhm.
it freaks me out. So I'm like, oh fuck, am I gonna get the needle? Can't you just give me some fucking laughing gas or some bullshit like that?
Yep.
Ugh.
No, I hear you. It's completely different. Because I have a piercing, and
What kind of
that
piercing do you
didn't do
got?
anything.
Just curious. Oh, never mind.
He's got that Prince Albert.
Yeah.
I do, and it's kind of funny. That's exactly what it is. However,
Prince Al, Varion, but go
That
ahead.
Jacob's Ladder.
anyway, but no, it is completely different, and it's different, and it's different for me now for this reason. And I found out why it was this when I joined the military. When you join the military, you get poked and prodded with every fucking instrument they have.
Oh god.
Now, they take blood samples, for STDs, for AIDS, for this, for that,
Yep.
see if you're sickle cell anemia, all sorts of shit. But you're in like a line of people. So they hand you back your vials of blood
To hold?
to hold until you get to the end of the line where you can give them to the person that's collecting them. I almost passed the fuck out because it's different to watch, for me, somebody else bleed, but when it's my own blood, now
Yeah.
you just gave me a vial, or 5 in this case, and they're all still warm.
Oh my god, dude.
I just went completely white and I sat down. I was like, I can't.
They didn't call you a pussy? No, dude, I feel
Oh,
you
I'm
with
sure
blood,
they did. I
man.
don't
Like,
give a fuck.
I mean, my left hand has been through so much fucking, like, torture pretty much because like it's fucking abuse. Like I remember as a kid, like I got glass stuck in my fucking the palm of my hand. I had to get like 24 fucking stitches. It's like playing baseball in the fucking back of a building and shit like that, and I slipped and shit. And then working or whatever, a few years ago, I was replacing a razor blade on one of these cutters, and I wasn't. I guess I was talking to someone. I wasn't paying attention when I put the blade through. It completely sliced my index finger, and I didn't notice. It was such a clean cut. And hadn't it been for my coworker who was like, "Hey, your hand is completely red," I fucking lost it, dude. My hand was completely red. How much blood I lost? I almost fucking fainted. It was fucking crazy. So I completely know the feeling, man.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't do like and like keep just getting my blood drawn. I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Frank, you ready to tell us your little story there, Brad? No, you good?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of off topic at this point, but
No, it's all good.
no, what happened? What happened was, we're going tubing, right? It's like an inner tube. You tie it to a boat, and they, drive you around the lake or whatever. So we're doing that. I fall off. I don't have a life vest on or
Oh
anything,
fuck.
and I'm like in the middle of the lake. They come back to pick me up. I'm like, no, I'll just swim back. I'll swim back, and I'm like swimming back to the dock because I was done anyways. And I thought for sure I could make it to the dock. I got like halfway there, and I thought for sure I was gonna drown. I couldn't fucking swim anymore. I thought for sure I was gonna fucking drown. I don't know how I made it.
Nah, dude, that's always a legitimate fear, bro. I forget what that movie is when they get stranded in fucking in deep waters in the fucking ocean. I forget what it's
Yeah.
called. But that shit's fucking scary as hell, man. Like that
I
shit
know
could
what you're
fucking
talking about.
happen,
What
bro.
the fuck is that? It's deep something.
Is it deep? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's fucking nuts, man. Like that shit is a legitimate fucking I don't know, fucking fear personally. Not just drowning. I mean, I can swim, but like when I'm stranded, the fact that you're stranded and there are fucking sharks around and shit like that, I don't know. I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, fuck you guys. I'm like shaking right now.
Oh man. Anyways, I kind of want to move on here a little bit, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
couple things in the news here I just want to touch on that I found fucking interesting. First and foremost, got that little kid who got arrested in New York for what you have the specifics here, Edison. What was going on there? You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, the first story that I read was that he got arrested for no reason. Apparently, someone dropped money. He picked it up. They decided to say, "Hey, you're stealing." They call the cops. The cops handcuff this kid, bring him to jail, being interrogated for 10 hours. First of all, where the fuck were his parents
How
for
old?
Yeah,
10
like if you're
hours?
how does your
The
kid get
kid, the kid, the
arrested
kid
and
was
you don't,
7.
especially a 7-year-old? I mean, come on.
And like when I read that, I was like, "There's got to be some kind of BS here. Like they're not telling the whole truth." So then I read this other story from this kid that said, you know, well, I didn't think they kept him in handcuffs any longer. Like this kid bullied me. Like him and his buddy ran up to me, like beat me up and took my money.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Little bastard.
and in top of it all, the family suing NYPD for $250 million.
Now that's fucking ridiculous, if you ask me. 250 mil, that's kind of bullshit. I mean, I think they're just looking for a payday there, personally.
Yeah, because my thing is again, one story said a kid was there for 10 hours, another story said a kid was in there for 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever. Either way, that's way too many hours for a kid to be in. Like, where the fuck were his parents? Like, if you called me right now and said, "Hey, your kid did something messed up. The cops are here. They're gonna take him." Like, dude, I'll be there in town. Like, I don't care where I'm
Yeah,
at.
exactly,
Like, I'm
pretty
losing
much.
my job for that. Now, if the cops called me and said, "Hey, we got your kid. He's in handcuffs," I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, "Well, what the fuck did he do? And
Mm-hmm.
like, why the hell is my kid in handcuffs?" And if you told me your son whooped this kid's ass with another little boy, robbed him $5, I would have been like, you know what? Keep him in there. I'll pick him up tomorrow night.
Yeah, scare him straight a little bit.
Because you know what, man? If you have the mindset as a 7-year-old that is perfectly fine for you to go with another kid to go beat up a kid and rob him for five. Like when I was 7, dude, $5 was shit. I was like winning a lame lottery.
Yeah, bro, that's bread right there. I
Like
remember that
if
shit.
if you if you think that's fine at 7 for you, like again, for you to go with your buddy, beat this kid up and take $5.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like if you don't give him some kind of punishment, I'm not saying this was the right kind of punishment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he got what he deserved, but if you don't do something that's like, you know what you did is wrong. What the hell is he gonna do when he's 16? He's gonna rape, like fucking kill, murder somebody for a freaking wallet or some shit like that, you know?
It's parenting nowadays, man. The parenting sucks. You know what I'm trying to say? Like all these fucking parents just don't give a shit. You know, like I mean, honestly, I would be like, all right, keep the motherfucker there a little bit. You know, scare him and shit. You know, like
Yeah.
it's a little bit old school and shit, but like I don't know, like yeah, you know, prevent that kid from fucking, I don't know, it's kind of like Arrested Development, you know, like when the dad tries to teach him lessons and shit like that. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You know, they got the always write a note or some shit, or that's why we don't yell, and you know, like teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson that you know they'll hold with them forever. Like this shit is wrong. You know, robbing and stealing, you know, is wrong, and if you do that shit when you're older, the consequences are going to be more severe. You know. So
Yeah, dude, because I mean, dude, I remember like I was raised in DR till about kindergarten, but I was like
see, I
before
knew you
kinder.
swam over here, motherfucker. I told you.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, before I was in kindergarten, like I was in school in DR, you know, and in DR, you know, if you tell the teacher to shut up, like you're gonna get hit. You know, they have a ruler. They'll beat you with a ruler. You know, like they'll hit you and stuff like that. I remember one time we were playing around in the playground, dude, and we were playing this game, and this kid's like, I told this kid like, yo, you're gonna play. He's like, I'm not playing. I said, well, you have no choice. Like, you're gonna freaking play. And he's
So you
like,
were a
yo, man,
bully.
like, it, in a sense, no, honestly, in a sense, yeah. So I tell the kid like, you're gonna get your ass up and you're gonna play. So I picked this kid up and I threw him to the ground. I told him start running.
Oh god.
We weren't like in this lady's backyard. Like there were rocks everywhere. This kid fell and his lip got caught between his teeth and a rock,
Oh
and
fuck.
part of his lip came off.
Oh
Bullying.
Like,
god
Bullying
damn.
like
people.
dude, like right then and there, dude. Like before I could even run, the teacher caught my hand and just whipped me with like this 2-foot ruler.
Jesus Christ, dude.
She beat the shit out of me, and I remember like, dude,
Lucky it
I
was
never
2
got,
feet. It should have been
dude,
3.
I didn't, dude, I never got hit so fucking hard. And dude, I remember, you know, my grandma came in. They called my grandma. Like we lived like 3 blocks away. They called my grandma, and it was like, dude, like when I saw my grandma, dude, it was like seeing an angel.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it was
not
like,
really though.
oh, no, 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 dude,
Not
I
these
was like,
Latina grandmothers, man.
nah, dude, I was like, when I saw her, dude, I was like, that's my savior. You know, I'm
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
sanctuary, sanctuary. Dude, my grandma whipped my ass in front of everybody. My grandma whipped my ass out the door. My grandma whipped my ass from school to my house. And when I say that my grandma whipped my ass from the school to the house, my grandma whipped my ass from the school to the house. Now ask me how many times I pushed a kid in school. I never
Never
pushed a
again, bro.
motherfucker in school till I
Yeah,
started playing football, man.
yeah, and like these fucking parents, you know, instead of trying to get a payday or whatever, try to, you know, teach your kid, you know, that what's right and wrong. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Like what society is more concerned about getting a big payday than anything. Like 250 mil for holding your kid for 10 hours, please. I brought this up yesterday when we were, you know, touching on the subject on the pre-meeting and shit like that. When the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, there was I mean, Boston was in complete bedlam, dude. Like, people were flipping over cars, shit like that. Like, which I don't fucking understand. Whatever. If your team wins, be fucking happy. But
That's like LA.
anyways, they're partying outside Fenway Park or whatever, right? And the riot police show up, and they have these like non-lethal, supposedly non-lethal rounds or whatever that they fire into
Rubber
the crowd
bullets.
to like, you know, disperse them and shit like that. But apparently, one girl got hit in the eye with one of these things, and she died. You know, like she died, and that family only got 5 mil. Like, are they honestly expecting 250 mil for holding your kid for being a fucking douchebag? I think that's, you know, you need to reevaluate your parenting skills. That's what I think.
Well, the thing with it is this. It's like I don't want to say I guarantee, but I bet you those fucking parents are the same ones that bitch about shit not being fixed around the city. Oh, no, this sucks, and there's not enough money for this, and there's not enough money for this. But as soon as you get a chance, you want to milk the damn city for $250 million.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid, dude.
Agreed, 100%. I don't know, man. And it also comes with like the this like crazy sense of entitlement
Yeah.
that people
No.
have this today.
Oh yeah. No, totally, bro. Totally.
I really think that's where it stems from. I mean, because I don't know, man. Like I really do. I think they're like, you know, the world owes me something. This country owes me something. The American dream was for you to earn it,
Yeah,
not
straight up.
for them to give it to you.
Yeah. No. Dude, no fucking question, bro. No question at all. Like it's everyone's just looking for a big payday. Yeah, I'd love to be rich and shit like that, but I don't know. I feel like that's not my style. You know what I'm trying to say? That's not my style.
I mean, I say that, but if someone hit me with a car as soon as I went down with
Oh,
this,
that's different, though. I mean, but no, but you're entitled to something because you'll have medical bills and shit like that or whatever. You'll be out of work for a while. I can see why people would do that. Now, these motherfuckers that walk around fucking slipping on wet puddles or whatever on purpose, you know, to get fucking bread, I think that's ridiculous too, though. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
There wasn't a sign there. It was clearly wet, but there wasn't a sign there.
Yeah, it's like these motherfuckers, like, you know, oh, the coffee was hot? What? Like, give me a break. I can't believe we have some of this shit. Frivolous lawsuits piss me off so much, bro.
You have McDonald's because you're fat?
Isn't that ridiculous? That shit always pissed me off,
that's
man.
like one of my teachers in college when I went for graphic design. He was telling us, he's like, you know when you read something so stupid, you just laugh at it? Like when you read a Cabbage Patch Kid, like the dolls are like, they pretend to be sucking on like a bottle and like the milk goes away.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you read like the doll, it says, don't put your hair in the doll's mouth. The reason I have that is because some retard put her hair in the damn mouth and the shit kept chewing on it till it damn near took all the damn hair out. And it's like you have to have all these stupid precautions for people. Like, I'm sorry,
it's ridiculous, bro.
like, dude, like when people, you know, get their arms caught on like the elevator, or like when someone's like running after the T and they stick their hands in, and they get hurt, and it's like, goddamn, someone's like, you better sue it. It's like, no, you better go check your common sense.
Yeah,
like you're fucking stupid.
I got two that are perfect. If you look on Google, if you look up the Stella Awards, they actually have awards for the world's most ridiculous lawsuits. And
oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Two of them are really funny. I'll tell you. One of them, an old lady buys a Winnebago, right? Decides to go across country, right?
Yep.
She's driving. She puts it on cruise control. Decides she wants to make a cup of coffee. Gets up out of the driver's seat and goes back and makes a cup of coffee. And of course, you know, the Winnebago veers off the road and fucking flips and crashes. Of course. And she sues them because it says that you cannot get up out of the driver's seat while in cruise control. It doesn't say that. Because it doesn't say that.
I mean, but is that really...
And she won and got a new Winnebago.
Oh my, I can't believe that's ridiculous, dude.
Another one. This one's even funnier, dude. This guy breaks into these people's house, right? He's trying to leave through their house. Tries to go through their... He's going through their garage door, closes the door behind him, and he goes to open the garage door, and the door won't open. I guess the motor was broken or something. And he's stuck in their fucking garage for 8 days and has to survive off a bag of dog food and shit, and sues the homeowners. And won.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Are you kidding now, dude?
What?
He won for pain and suffering and, like, failure to have sufficient whatever, like, fucking food or whatever in their fucking garage. It's like some ridiculous shit.
Absolute bullshit, dude. That pisses me off even more.
Look it up on Google. Look it up. Stella Awards. I think it's 2012. It probably is. I don't know.
It's like... I cannot believe that guy won that. Number one, he breaks into their house. Like, that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Oh, I know somebody who's their cousin or their aunt. Someone was breaking into their house. They fell through the skylight on their roof, broke their leg on their oven, and then sued them and won.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. That's fucking ridiculous.
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's completely fucking.
This country, man. Sometimes the shit out here in this country is fucking. Like, okay, we're talking about this, frivolous shit. Like, and common sense. Like, why do we need seatbelt laws? You feel me, right? Like, I don't fucking get it, bro. Sometimes I don't know.
It's to protect you from yourself.
Why? I mean,
It's the same reason why drugs are illegal.
well, yeah, like that big deal, big help that does, right? It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Oh, the war on drugs is stupid. It's
Oh,
a
absolutely.
complete failure.
It's complete failure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a libertarian, I think, people that's their journey. You do what you want. If you're gonna OD on drugs, you're gonna OD on drugs. Whatever, man. That's your battle. Whatevs. I don't know. Anyways, moving on real quick. Couple more things I want to touch on. We touched on it a few episodes ago. The whole Manti Te'o thing or whatever with the catfishing and all that. And that story, man, I don't know if you guys have been following it, but whatever. I have no choice but to follow it here in Hawaii because it's, that Manti Te'o is from Hawaii. That shit got fucking weird, man. The fucking guy that was hoaxing him for all those fucking years is in love with him now or some shit like that. Like, and number one, like, that dude must be like a fucking genius actor because if you can mask your voice for a dude not to tell that you're a guy for all those years, that takes some fucking talent, man. Because I don't know if you get a chance to hear the voicemails. The guy sounds like an actual chick. I could not believe it. Like, and I remember you, Al, saying that it happens a lot in the military. Was that what you were saying, or
Yeah,
you want to explain that a little bit?
Well, because these guys, they'll go to, and it's not necessarily like the Persian Bride websites. But they'll say, give me this $5,000, you're in port or whatever, and pay for my visa or whatever, and then they just take the fucking money and bolt, and then you're like, oh well, I loved you, and they're like, and you never hear from them again. And there's a legitimate like it's a legitimate business in like the Philippines and Thailand and Japan to get people to fall in love with you. And these sailors, these Americans that are eventually going to go back, because when you marry somebody in the military from another country, you get dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's other steps obviously to get your.
Aren't there also marriage perks for being married in the military? You get more money and shit like that too. So I can see why the guys would be enticed.
There's a lot
right?
of that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. So there's that. So it's rampant. Absolutely.
Nice, dude. That's fucking nuts. I don't know, I just find the whole thing.
Don't you get your own? Don't you get a house if you're married? You get a house instead of just like a fucking room or whatever.
Oh, is that for real?
If you get they don't just say, here, we built you a house.
Well, yeah, of course. But you get you get a bigger credit or whatever to move in somewhere.
The way that it works is when the ranking structure, right? For enlisted, there's E1, E9, E5 and above. Get this thing called basic allowance for housing, and it's a set of money based on the cost of living of the zip code of your current command. For me, I'm getting housing allowance for the zip code for the school that I'm at, the zip code of the school that I'm at, based on an E5 with dependents rate. Now, I clarified with dependents because there's a rate for being single and there's a rate for being married. Now, you can be E4 or below, to get this money, but you have to be married. They don't just give it to you. So, what people do is they get married while they're in, they're E4 and below, because let me tell you, the money you make as E4 and below is abysmal. So this extra $2,000 or whatever you're getting,
that's a huge difference, man.
$2,000 a month on top of the $2,000 a month, that you're already making. So you're making $4,000 a month. You are now making over $60,000 a year, and you just joined the fucking military.
Yeah, it's a fucking sweet deal.
So,
did they crack down on that shit? I mean, is it like one of those things where they do those green card marriages where they'll investigate you for a few months and shit like that? And
absolutely. You can't just go, especially somebody like me who had a security clearance, you can't just go and marry somebody outside in the other country. You have to get permission, and then they investigate. Because if you don't tell anybody, you will lose your clearance and you lose your job and you will lose, you pretty much get kicked out of the military.
Nice.
But yeah, people do it all the time, so they see that money, they see it as an enticing thing to do, and they get screwed.
It's
Wow.
fucking yeah. It's pretty crazy, man. And I mean, I can definitely see because you know, you see this shit all the time. You hear about it or whatever. You know, oh, marriage contracts and shit like that, especially here or whatever. But that's pretty intense. That extra bread though can be enticing, man.
It
Uh,
can. You go from making 30 to you double your paycheck.
Pretty much. Fucking sweet ass raise. All right, and the last thing I want to touch on for the night, I'm actually just a little bit curious. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dan Marino, former QB of Miami Dolphins back in the
I
day.
heard
Is that
mutterings of
that
it. I don't know.
dude? Is that the guy from
Little Nicky,
what's that
where he's
movie?
asking
No,
Satan to win a Super
no,
Bowl.
what's that movie? What's that movie with Jim Carrey that he played the pet
Yeah,
detective?
yeah.
Lace him out.
Ace Ventura. When he was with the Dolphins. Yep.
All right, so apparently he has a love child or whatever, and he's had this child for like 11 years or some shit like that. You know, and he was cool about it. I mean, like the chick was cool about it too. Whatever, he paid her off. You know, moved to Texas and shit like that, and you know, now I guess it's a big deal. But like, I hate, you know, what I don't understand about these stories is, you know, the guy gets a lot of flack, you know, for it. But am I alone here? I mean, unless he raped her, which would have been wrong, but he didn't, obviously. Unless he raped her, why isn't it shared blame? Why is it always the guy that looks like the ass here too? You know what I'm trying to say?
Because a
What's the
lot
deal
of
with
Because
that?
the
people
girl's
spin it.
not married. He's married.
Yeah, but so what?
Okay, well here's the.
She knew he was married, right? I mean, he's been with his wife for 30 years.
That's not the point, though.
This is how they look at it, right? Because Frank's right. He's married, and at that point, it's adultery, which against a lot of people's beliefs in this country. Because remember, it's a pretty much predominant Christian society.
Sure, absolutely. However, his wife
That
is
is
still going to stay with him. So, like, you know,
So when you see that, and you see that he committed adultery, that is strike one. Two, he is a he's an athlete. He's a professional athlete, and even though people don't like it, you can't. I think it is a responsibility of the person accepting the position of professional anything. If you're going to be in the limelight, that you now need to hold yourself to a higher standard than most, because you are now going to be
that's fair.
scrutinized.
Sure, that's fair. However, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's right. I think it takes two to tango. That's just how I look at it.
I agree. However, because if he was Joe Schmo down the road and he did that, nobody would give a shit. But because he is in the limelight, he's a professional. Everybody knows what he is, who he is. He's looked up to by kids or whatever as somebody who they'd like to grow up to be. And as a professional football player, you have to accept that responsibility if you're ever going to do that job, I think. So, is he wrong?
Like,
Absolutely.
It's the same thing like with Tiger Woods. Do we go find every prostitute and call them out and say, oh, they're just as wrong as Tiger Woods?
That was like he was doing porn stars and shit like that. I don't know.
It's the same thing, though.
Tiger Woods.
You just gotta think,
I mean, I'm not condoning it or anything like that. Not like supporting it. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. I just think it takes two to tango, and that's just how I look at it, I guess.
I'll say it this: if the female he did it with was, I don't know,
she was totally
a married
cool about
actress.
it. I don't know.
If it was a married actress, if it was a married famous girl, then it would be both ways.
But because it's some chick nobody knows anything about and doesn't give a fuck about.
Exactly, nobody gives a fuck about this person.
It's Dan motherfucking Marino. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a big deal.
I guess, man. I guess.
But like the thing that bothers me about it is, first of all, he shouldn't have had that affair.
True.
He did it. That's done. Second of all, I think the whole thing with him paying her off was kind of fucked up, and I think it's even more fucked up that she accepted it. And then 11 years later, I think when the money's gone, she's like, "Well, I have this kid. I might as well make some more money out of it." It's kind of like, well, it's like she's a bitch too for doing that shit too. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I think he was still supporting the kid too on the side. So like, it's not like she wasn't getting bread. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where I don't know. It's back to that whole payday thing again. You know, like he gave her millions. How do you blow through all that bread? You know, like
easily. When you're
Fuck,
not
man.
giving a shit.
Man, if I had that kind of cash, man, I'd make that shit last, shawty dough. Fuck. You know, like I've mastered being broke. Let me master being
Let me
rich.
tell you.
You know what I
Let
mean?
me tell you.
Fuck.
Dude, I'm pretty sure she like used all that money to like put the kid in like quarterback programs, get him the best coaches and shit to
Yeah,
make more money off
nigga,
of him.
your
It's a
father's
girl.
Dan
It's a little
Marino. You're
girl.
gonna be a quarterback too.
It's a little
Yeah.
girl.
Oh, it's a girl. Shit, you're gonna be in that lingerie
Yeah.
league. Nah, it's playing. Nah, I'm messing. But
The lingerie
Well,
league is
you gon'
bullshit. They ain't wearing no fucking lingerie.
you gonna do some play action deep passes in a thong. You got that Dan Marino on, baby.
All right, man. And wrapping up here, I kind of want to do this YouTube video of the week type thing, whatever. I think the one this week was one that Frank pointed out. You wanna brush on that real quick, Frank? The Orlando chick and shit like that.
Yeah. No, this Orlando chick goes to Louisiana. She's broadcasting from Louisiana. I don't really know what she's originally talking about, but she's just talking, and this girl comes up and just bombs her fucking feed like, "Hey, 49ers!" And she turns to this bitch and she's like, "Oh, you want to do an interview?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And she's like, "Oh, we're just doing a broadcast on the STD rate here in Louisiana. How long have you had an STD?" Oh, just
Bro,
puts
she
this
fucking
bitch on the
smokes that
spot.
chick, son. It's so fucking good, man.
She burns her, bro. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
And it's and now she's catching flack because of that. But I'm like, yo, why?
Dude,
You know,
they're
like,
talking about suspending her and
oh, that's
shit.
such bullshit, dude. She was just
It
doing
is.
her,
It
trying to
is.
do her job.
They were
And this
talking
bitch
about
is
that. They were
interrupting.
talking about that all day on the radio today, like talking to different news anchors, and they're like, "Well, you know, I'm not the person that's in charge, but if I were, this is probably what I would do." You know, and it's like
I think
they
it's so
can't.
corny,
They
man.
cannot. I think they cannot suspend her because if they suspend her, then that'll make the guy look. They'll just look like fucking stuck up pricks. You know what I mean?
It's,
They'd have to just pull her aside privately and say, "Look, you can't do this again. I'm not going to suspend you. We're not going to, you're not going to get in any trouble, but you can't do this again." You know what I mean? That way, the public
give
it doesn't
the
look
chick
like
a warning at least.
Yeah,
But at the same
exactly,
time,
yeah.
I think she was totally warranted in doing that. Especially like she could have been having a bad day too, and like this bitch comes out of nowhere, interrupting, trolling her fucking
Yeah, because you got to
interview.
think she only has a certain amount of time to do this. She's been working all day, on the research,
Pretty much,
working,
yeah.
interviewing all these different people, getting, questionnaires and stuff, and then she's got this thing set up, and this girl just comes in taking up her fucking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll make sure we post that when we post this episode and everything, so people know what we're talking about. It's definitely worth the watch. It's really fucking funny. Anyways, man, with that, we're at the hour mark. We're a little bit past the hour mark, actually. I fucking flew by, actually. I'm gonna wrap.
Wrap it up.
I'm gonna wrap this up. Yo, B, wrap it up. Yeah. Anyways, just want to throw out there that everybody who's listening, don't forget to like our page on Facebook, facebook.com/realtalkpcast. YouTube channel, podcast Real Talk, Twitter feed, as well as the same thing, and SoundCloud. Don't forget. With that, thanks guys for joining. We'll see you guys next week. This has been episode 5, The Trauma Unit. Peace.